Well, let's continue our coverage of the live developments from Los Angeles. This is the fires that are affecting areas of Malibu and the Pacific Palisades as well. A few moments ago, we were joined by Los Angeles Fire Department Information Officer Margaret Stewart. Let me just recap a couple of the key points that she shared with us. She said that the fires were growing and it wouldn't be possible to determine their full size until daybreak and aerial surveillance could be carried out. She said that despite there being some civilian and firefighter injuries, as yet, to the best knowledge of the authorities, and it is 2:35 in the morning, local time, there had been 0 fatalities. All of this is being exacerbated by high winds, and Los Angeles Fire Department saying that some of those wind gusts are reaching up to 100 miles an hour, and that while the fire in itself isn't particularly large for the region, it has seen far larger conflagrations. The speed of the growth and also the area that is affecting is unusual. Off-duty firefighters from the force have been called to request their assistance. That's firefighters from the force itself. Air tackling of this flame is not possible at the moment due to those high winds, not because of the nighttime conditions. The teams have night goggles, so can tackle this regardless of the daytime and the darkness. But because of the high winds, that's not possible at the moment. We will bring you more details on that, and you can get more by scanning the QR code on your screen right now. Well, on the ground for us is our correspondent, Martha. She's been talking a little earlier to Wilfred Frost.
This is not typically wildfire season, but it seems now that the entire year is wildfire season, and there's been this confluence of devastating circumstances in that LA is in a state of drought at the moment. It's not rained here for months. There's incredibly low humidity, and it means that the vegetation is bone dry, and it contributes to these sort of tinderbox circumstances, which has meant that these fires are popping up all over this city. It is a long and very scary night coming up for the people of LA, because it's not just fires burning here in Pacific Palisades in the west of the city. There's also a big blaze underway in Altadena, which is in the east of LA. The area that you can see now where I am, this is the Pacific Coast Highway. Anyone who has been to Los Angeles as a tourist will have heard of this road. It's one of the world's most beautiful coastal roads. Well, now many of the restaurants and bars and homes that line this road are up in flames. 10,000 structures in this area, homes and businesses, are now under threat. 30,000 people under mandatory evacuation orders. This is an unprecedented disaster for this particular part of Los Angeles, and I can't overstate just how much of a problem the wind presents to firefighters here. Winds this evening already gusting up to 83 miles per hour, and they're expected, forecast, to get even stronger in the coming hours. And that means that it's not only a problem for the firefighters on the ground, they also had to ground their fleet of firefighting planes and helicopters. So those planes and helicopters that you would usually see dousing the area below with water, they're not able to take flight this evening. So that is hampering efforts to tackle this blaze too. We're hearing from the LA Fire Department, very sadly, that one of their 25-year-old female firefighters has sustained a serious head injury. There are also a number of burns victims who were actually seeking refuge at a restaurant not far away from where I am on the Pacific Coast Highway. They were treated inside that restaurant by firefighters and then taken to a nearby hospital. As I say, 30,000 people under mandatory evacuation orders, but I've spent a lot of the day in this Pacific Palisades community, and there are many people who chose to remain behind to try and protect their homes and businesses. So you can only hope that they've managed to stay safe in what are terrifying conditions this evening.
Martha, I did just want to come back to, I mean, you said this at the top, all year seems now to be wildfire season in the United States. Take your time, Martha. Safety first, and we can come back to you later if at all possible. I'll continue the question in case you can hear and things are all right. But obviously
all good.
No pressure at all. And you said at the top that wildfire season is sort of all year. Californians are prepared. They're expectant of these sorts of moments at times in the year. But perhaps the residents of the Pacific Palisades on the coast, as they are, at this time of year, will have been taken by some level of shock and surprise at how quickly this spread in their residential neighbourhood, not amongst necessarily just dry forest areas.
Yeah, I think a lot of people taken by surprise by just how severe this fire is, and much of that is due to the wind. The reason why we just moved positions then was occasionally there is a huge gust of wind and it brings embers from this fire towards us, and that's what's proving particularly dangerous this evening. It's those embers that then spread and spark larger fires, other blazes in other areas, and that's what's making the scale of this firefighting challenge so difficult for the LA Fire Department. And in fact, they have asked all off-duty LA Fire Department personnel to report for duty, and that's incredibly unusual for a city of this size, and I think speaks to the size of this fire and the challenge that they're having to fight it this evening. Just to also give you an idea about the area that this fire covers, there are actually areas of Santa Monica which neighbours the Pacific Palisades under evacuation warnings this evening. That means residents there are being told that they may also have to evacuate. If this fire does spread to Santa Monica this evening, that will be utterly devastating. And as I mentioned before, the conditions here are not even the worst that they will be. Forecasters are warning that these winds will pick up in the coming hours, which could make this even more dangerous than it already is.
And those evacuation orders, again, just if you give some of our viewers a bit of the context, Pacific Palisades and Santa Monica and then other parts of Los Angeles are connected, mainly the main artery by the Pacific Coast Highway, which at the best of times sees terrible traffic. Overnight reports of complete gridlock, of course, in light of these evacuation orders. And at the same time, needing to be free to get the fire trucks in. I mean, it's a really terrible cocktail of issues at the moment.
Yeah, the roads here are pretty clear at the moment. Most people evacuated many hours ago. There has been a steady stream of emergency service vehicles, fire engines, ambulances, police cars. You can see one of them there up and down this road because there are also outbreaks, fire outbreaks up in Malibu, which is just maybe 3-4 miles up the coast from where I am. I mentioned in my piece earlier, Pacific Palisades, one of the most exclusive, expensive parts of LA, as is Santa Monica. But as we can see, this fire, utterly indiscriminate, it is one of Mother Nature's great levelers. So, really people taken by surprise, I think, by the fact that this fire has happened in this particular area, in some of these areas, but also that it's happened at this time of year as well.